Semifinal week in high school football. Todd,
Lucky week 13.
Did you ever? I suppose you thought that maybe we'd be here, maybe we'd have one, but did you think that ever that we'd have two teams? Yeah, I suppose we thought we'd have Sacred Heart Griffin and Rochester, maybe, but we're half right.
We're half right. Yeah, that whole side of the 5A bracket has just been completely nuts. Starting with Jacksonville upsetting SHG, and then all the good close games. Springfield, Marion, Jacksonville, Glenwood. Glenwood, Springfield was close, and then
what about the way Joliet Catholic lost last week?
Which was I've seen video of it, and I'm still a little bit perplexed about that fake punt there. But Dan Sharp has won about 1 million more football games than I ever will, so I'm not going to criticize too much. It's just a little bit odd.
But right now, you're both preparing your teams the same way.
Absolutely.
Week, so.
And and talking with, I talked with some of the Glenwood coaches about it, and we talked a little bit off the record, and then it's like, doesn't matter. We're practicing, that's all they care about.
Your primetime player last week in the quarterfinals.
In the gloomy, squishy mud up at Quincy, Notre Dame. I'm going to go with Michael Gunner. Had a huge game, or Mike Gunner. The interception return for touchdown really was. Put them up by 2 scores, and
one of 3 picks that he had in the game.
One of 3 picks that he had. Another one stopped to drive, and he got one on the very last play to end the game. And really, Rochester's defense was huge, carried him that game. The other 2 turnovers they forced were by Travis Everly. 1 interception in the first half set up the opening touchdown, and the other one, he ripped the ball away from a Notre Dame ball carrier, recovered it, and that stopped probably QND's best drive after. It was a 2-point game. Yeah. So, huge defensive day.
I'm going to go with the defensive guy. I was at the Glenwood Springfield High game, and I'm going to go with a defensive player too, and that's Michael Fiash, because Michael Fiash made a big interception that set up a score for Glenwood, and he also made a tremendous hit on Terrell Bolden that kept him from getting a first down, and Michael Fiash was huge in that game, that's for sure. All kinds of candidates, Miles McAdams and other guys. Devin Von Nordheim-Moore went over 100. Tony Giovanelli had 3 scores, but I think Michael Fiash set the tone with the interception, and then he wrapped it up with the big hit. That's my guy. How do we look at this week? You're going to do the double dip. We're going to start in Chatham with Peoria, Richwoods, and Glenwood. Size that one up.
Well, a couple things. One,
no secrets with Richwoods.
Exactly, no secrets. And the other big thing too is that they're trying to get to state for the first time since 1988, I believe. So, they were in the semifinals last year, lost big to JCA.
Eliminated SHG and Springfield High on the way to the semifinals last year.
And if you look at it, Glenwood has struggled. Not so much with Kankakee last year. Lynn Onken told me that Kankakee, was intent on running the ball as what Richwoods is. But if you look at the games with SHG, all 3 games over the last 2 years, SHG has made a point to really kind of pound the ball at them. And maybe they're not as set up to stop it, but it's semifinals. You're at home, anything is possible, and you're going to see 2 teams that are. I expect it to be a quick moving game. Both teams, Glenwood's thrown for about 400 more yards than what Richwoods has, but
the sophomore quarterback has really grown. Miles McAdams was very good last week, and they found a new up. They used Devin Von Nordheim-Moore out of the backfield for 6 catches last week, and he had 2 going into the game.
Show them something they haven't seen before,
That's coaching.
It's going to be a I think a really back and forth, quickly played game. The clock's going to get on a roll and start moving. And for Glenwood, the key is 1, get some stops early, get some momentum, and then and then hopefully catch Richwood's napkin, just do something to get on top. I mean, you're at home. This is a game you haven't been in 12 years. I mean, go
1998.
Go out and enjoy it.
So, some similarities, undersized lines that are technique lines, not real big monsters on either side of the ball for either one, Richwoods or Glenwood. Both teams like to run the ball, but Richwoods likes to run the ball and use up about 8 minutes on their drives. Glenwood is inclined to break one.
Yeah, exactly.
They got that speed and they want to break one. Although the sophomore back for Richwoods is a good
Kendrick
kid.
Foster.
I saw him eat SHG alive.
He was such an unknown commodity last year. He wasn't even on the roster that we got before the game. But SHG found out in a hurry who he is. You know, he's not going to be a surprise. Tevin Hicks, their All-State fullback, missed last week with a high ankle sprain. I was told by Roland Brown, the Richwoods coach, that they are cautiously optimistic that he'll be playing this week. So, and you know, you want that. I mean, let's have everybody
put the best out there and let's
put
play.
them. Exactly, it'll be a fun game.
The other game, Rochester plays at 6 o'clock Saturday night. Size that one up.
The night time's the right time for Rochester. You know, I think it's. You know, Metamora was sort of an unspoken goal for these guys throughout the course of the season, and then you know. They started a little bit later over at QND. They knew the outcome of that game before their game was decided. You know, Mike Gunner gets that last pick. You know, they're all happy. They're celebrating, and then bang, you know, we owe Metamora. That was, and I'm sure that's been part of the thought here. You know, Metamora, Michael Faze, a quarterback, went over 1,000 yards rushing and passing. Finally got the passing yardage last week. Has been fantastic for him. I believe, if I've read the PJ Star correctly, the first sophomore to ever start for Metamora there, who has good a downstate you know, public program as any you'll find. You know,
he had a great game last year against Rochester.
He did.
Over in Metamora.
And you know, they took care of Corn Belt champion Pontiac last week.
Which Rochester has some familiarity with, having played in the Corn Belt for all those years.
Yeah, and they took care of Muhammad in the first round of Mount Zion in the second round. You know, they're rolling, and their only loss is to an 8A, you know,
South Elgin team that was ranked most of the season.
Yeah. So I mean, the one team that's beat them was more than double their size. So they'll be a tough challenge. As for Rochester, I mean, this is, you know, everything's sort of been geared toward this game and getting this rematch. They got what they want. They got them at home. You know, they survived a scare against the QND team that they believe to be as good as anybody they've played all season. You know, playing in a game that's not their style, on a field that's not their style, in a very unique setting up there at QND, they found a way to survive. And you know, this is what they've wanted, and I'll be surprised if they don't play well in this game. I mean, it's going to take a supreme effort from Metamora to beat them.
Maybe we'll be talking championship next week.
Turkey time.
Maybe we won't be back next week, like Dave Kane, who we sent out the pasture.
Death Knell Kane,
the Terminator.
Yeah, he terminated all four of his. So it's just us. Lucky you.
And now we're gone.
See ya.